Hi, this is the Human Operating System time. This channel is for educations and technology. Today I'd like to share with you something really critical for many of our Wing Chun friends. And actually, there is a lot of Wing Chun friends need to know this. So we need to shift from technique-centric mindset to impulse momentum-centric mindset. So to make an example, I often got Wing Chun friends message me asking me when I'm explaining a certain techniques that in combat, if this guy using these techniques, that techniques, what should I do? Those kind of stuff. So this is a problematic. When people talk about combat, sparring, fighting, one need to use the mindset of impulse momentum mindset, not techniques mindset. So for example, if I show a video to you explaining how the sun punch is used, then many friends will come to me, ask me, so when you do sun punch, what if that guy shift his body and doing his Wong Sao, like in the Cham Kyu set, blah, blah, blah. Well, this is disaster. This is like what? This is like a choreography making film, making movies. In the real life, it is a impulse momentum centric. If one want to talk about fighting, sparring, and combat, well, over here I don't want to promote fighting and violence. I treat this as a science. Okay, so don't watch this channel and use whatever I'm sharing, go fighting. Okay, I don't like that. Okay, now. So what happened is, it looks like most of the world, when people talk about Wing Chun, it is all about techniques. And then it's always about Tan Bong Fo, or somebody talk about the 12 Wing Chun hand, or some footwork. Well, this is what I call technique-centrics. Now, in the reality, the real world, it is combat, fighting, sparring is impulse momentum centric, because it is an impulse momentum games. And of course, we know that in order to support this impulse momentum game, you need a specific functional training to support the impulse momentum proficiency. Without proficiency, one will not be able to handle these impulse momentum games. For example, our friend who do BJJ have to roll down in the floor, rolling. Well, that is a specific functional training. Our friend in boxing have to do shadow boxing, line skipping, those. All those are specific function training. Now ask ourselves, what is this, or how is this technique stuff fit into the impulse momentum handling, or the specific functional training? How is this map into that? Are you playing sets, be able to map into this impulse momentum handling? Or is it playing set is a specific functional training which is support the impulse momentum proficiency? Of course it is not. So it is a disaster when people talk about, oh, this techniques is for this. Then we come along saying that, what if he used this technique? What if he used this technique? How do you think? Well, techniques is not the problem. When one be able to handle the impulse momentum, when one have the specific functional training, then one be able to use the techniques, and one be able to use the techniques in different ways. It is not just like in the book learning, this technique is for this, that technique is for that. Well, in the movie you see that. In the real life, have you ever seen that? Like for example, people talk about Tan Sao. Well, Tan Sao is what? Tan Sao is just lifting up when I want to shoot in. There's Tan. Whether I touch him or not, it doesn't matter. I just go up left and then go in. There's Tan Sao. So that is the impulse momentum play stuff. Now, when one do something striking or attacking, it's not necessary one to use Tan Sao, because that is a judgment on the speed, the dynamics, and the angle and the level. If the strike, the punch is shoot down to my stomach, there's no way I'm going to use Tan Sao, because Tan Sao is lifting. It's a lifting like that, okay? When they come in, I just retract it, exactly retract it. The goal is to dissipate his power, and then to redirect it away. Well, even you use the Tan Sao, there's different meanings in the impulse momentum games. So it is really, really critical that one need to shift this to go this. Learn this first, and then this is good. Tools. But if one just learn these tools and without knowing this, then it is making movie. Okay? So that's the reason why I wrote the Wing Chun matrix. It needs to get into this impulse momentum games. And there are many ways of playing this impulse momentum game. Like for example, if my intention is to chop down, okay, chopping is really a techniques in Wing Chun 1850, which is usually today we don't see that much, okay? So if I want to use this chop down, I can bait him like doing a Tan Sao go up, okay? I can bait him, or I can do all kind of stuff, set it up so I can chop down. Okay? And of course, when I chop down, this is not end this way, this is not end this way. What happened? When you chop down, it's a short strike art. The shoulder go right in, okay? So like if you give me a sun punch, I chop it down, and then right away, my shoulder crush in, or collide in. So this is all momentum. There's changes within changes. Okay? So move from here to here. Otherwise, you are going to ask question which doesn't make sense. It's like in a movie. Okay? So this is to share with you. It is really urgent now. One need to move from here to here. Wing Chun have this problem in the past decades. Traditional Chinese martial art have the problem in the past decades about this. That's why when Xi Xiaodong challenged the traditional Chinese martial art guys, you never win. Why? Because the MMA guy, the BJJ guy, our friends in Western boxing, all our friends there is playing this game, and then while we are doing this, we have no idea what it is. We are doing this, and then the guy who do internal will say, well, this is Fa Jing, this type of Jing, that type of Jing, that type of Jing. Well, what is this technique stuff and the Jing stuff got to do with this? That's why you always see these days, okay, that the Chinese, the younger generation Chinese, and the people who do not study traditional Chinese martial art will always laugh at traditional Chinese martial art, including Wing Chun. So, well, when you talk about this technique, that techniques, but when you go really fight with people like Xi Xiaodong, you turn into like this kind of stuff. Like untrained guy going crazy, okay? So unless everybody shift here, and then you'll be able to make use of this. One is not learning anything. So if one have no idea of this, just learning this techniques, this can do this, I can do this, I can do that. That's good only for making movies, okay? Not to mention in the impulse momentum game, there is a specific functional training. Like if I want to dash out my body, my entire body has to be conditioned properly, and you have to like handle your body's background momentum and so forth, like I mentioned here. So it is not just like I'll do a sun punch. No, you have to have the entire body go, and then you need the specific functional training. Only with that you'll be able to generate that momentum. It's not standing there and punch. And standing there and punch, or walking slowly and punch, or shifting and punch, that's called Ding Bu, or fixed steps. And there's a disaster in studying traditional Chinese martial art, especially Wing Chun. Why Wing Chun have a narrow stance? Because it has to be agile to move. So practically every strike, the footwork of every strike is moving with the body, the footwork is moving with the arm for every strike. In the short strike, the core and the leg is the dominant, and this is the subordinate. This is the main, this is subordinate. So one move and strike, move and strike, move and strike. Now that need a functional training. If you do your Xiu Lim Tao, and then you do your sets slowly, your Qi Sao standing there, how are you going to get that skill in pulling here? So all this is about educations. Again, I don't want people using my information for fighting and create all kinds of negative stuff for the society. But this is a science we need to know. One knows this, one knows the momentum, one can run. One don't need to fight.